Hello everyone, and welcome back to English EchoLingo. This is Mike, and I am so glad you decided to spend some of your valuable time with me today. Before we dive into our topic, I want to ask you a question that might sound a little bit strange. Think about your morning routine. Think about your health. Now, let me ask you, do you brush your teeth once a year for 5 hours straight? Or do you brush them every single day for just 2 minutes? The answer is obvious, isn't it? You wouldn't dream of waiting 364 days and then spending an entire afternoon scrubbing your teeth. It wouldn't work. Your teeth would be in terrible condition. And that 5-hour session would be painful and exhausted. Instead, you do it every day. You do it when you are tired. You do it when you are in a hurry. You do it because it is a ritual, a small, simple act that protects your health over the long term. Learning English is exactly the same. But for some reason, many students try the 5-hour method. They wait until the weekend, sit down for a massive study session, feel completely exhausted, and then don't touch their books for another week. I want to tell you today that there is a better way. There is a scientific way. There is a way that feels lighter, easier, and yet produces results that are 10 times more powerful. We are talking about the power of consistency. Consistency is a word we hear often, but what does it really mean in the context of your brain? It means doing something again and again. Not just when you feel motivated, but as a standard part of your day. It's about frequency, not just intensity. Today, I'm going to show you how making English a daily ritual, just like brushing your teeth, can completely rewire your brain, build your confidence from the ground up, and finally give you the fluency you've been searching for. So, why is this daily practice so vital? Let's look at the logic behind it. Your brain is an incredible organ, but it is also very efficient. It likes to save energy. When you learn a new English word or a grammar rule once, your brain thinks, okay, that's interesting, but I probably don't need to keep this. It puts that information in a temporary storage area. If you don't use it again soon, your brain simply throws it away to make room for other things. However, when you encounter that same word or rule every day, something magical happens. Your brain begins to realize, wait, I see this information every morning. It must be important for survival. At that point, your brain starts to build a permanent bridge. In science, we call this neural plasticity. By repeating small actions daily, you are physically changing the wiring of your brain. You are telling your nervous system that English is a natural part of your environment. This leads us to the concept of automation. Think about when you first learned to drive a car or ride a bicycle. You had to think about everything. Where are my hands? Where is the brake? Should I look in the mirror now? It was stressful because your brain was doing all the work manually. But through daily repetition, those actions moved from your conscious mind to your subconscious mind. Now, you can drive while thinking about what you want for dinner. English works the same way. When you practice every day, you stop translating in your head. You stop the slow process of choosing a word, checking the grammar, and then speaking. Instead, the words begin to flow automatically. Your mouth develops muscle memory. Your ears develop a natural rhythm for the language. This isn't magic, it's simply the result of consistent, low-stress repetition. And let's talk about confidence, because I know many of you feel a sense of fear when you have to speak. Where does that fear come from? It usually comes from the unknown. If you only study once a week, English feels like a stranger. And it's natural to be nervous around strangers. But if you spend time with English every day, it becomes an old friend. You become comfortable with the sounds, the mistakes, and the process. Confidence isn't something you are born with. It is a side effect of familiarity. Every time you show up for your 15-minute practice, you are sending a message to yourself. I am a person who learns English. That identity is more powerful than any textbook. Now, you might be thinking, Mike, I understand it's important, but I'm so busy. How do I actually do this? This is where the 15-minute routine comes in. I want you to forget about 1 hour or 2 hour study sessions for a moment. Let's focus on just 15 minutes. Anyone can find 15 minutes. You can find it while your coffee is brewing, while you are on the bus, or just before you go to sleep. I have developed 5 simple actions for your 15-minute routine. You don't have to do all of them every day. You can pick 1 or 2. The goal is simply to keep the English light burning in your mind. The first action is what I call passive immersion. This is simply listening. But here is the secret: you don't have to understand 100% of what you hear. In fact, it's better if you don't focus too hard. Just put on a short podcast, a news report, or an English story while you are doing something else, cleaning the house, walking the dog, or cooking. The goal here is to let your brain marinate in the sounds of English. You are training your ears to recognize the melody, the stress, and the rhythm of the language. It's like background music. Even if you aren't paying full attention, your subconscious is working, absorbing patterns that will make speaking easier later on. The second action is shadowing. This is a very powerful technique used by professional translators. It's simple. You listen to a native speaker say a sentence, and you try to say it at the same time, or immediately after, like an echo. You are a shadow. Don't worry about the grammar of the sentence. Just copy the emotion, the speed, and the way the words connect. If the speaker sounds happy, you sound happy. If they pause, you pause. This builds the physical muscles in your mouth and tongue. It breaks the habit of speaking flat English and helps you sound more natural and fluid. The third action is stress-free reading. Find a very short article, a children's story, or even a social media post in English. The rule is this: do not use a dictionary for every new word. If you stop every 5 seconds to look up a word, your brain gets bored and frustrated. Instead, try to guess the meaning from the context. Look at the words around the unknown word. Look at the vibe of the sentence. This guessing is actually a high-level brain activity that helps you learn much faster than memorizing a list. If you find a word that appears 3 or 4 times and you still don't know it, then look it up. Otherwise, just keep moving and enjoy the story. The fourth action is thinking out loud. This is something you can do when you are completely alone. Start narrating your life in English. I am opening the fridge. I see some eggs. I think I will make an omelet. It sounds silly, doesn't it? But it is incredibly effective. Most of the time, we struggle to speak English because we aren't used to connecting our physical actions and thoughts to English words. By describing your day as it happens, You are building a direct path between your life and the language. You are training your brain to think in English without the intermediate step of translation. The fifth action is a micro journal. Take a notebook or your phone and write just 3 to 5 sentences about your day. What was the best thing that happened? What are you planning for tomorrow? How do you feel? You don't need to write an essay. Just a few lines. This helps you practice your active vocabulary and grammar in a way that is personal to you. You are much more likely to remember words that describe your own life than words from a generic textbook. Now, let's talk about what happens when you actually do this. I want to give you a roadmap so you know what to expect. After just one day of 15-minute practice, you will feel a small sense of victory. You proved to yourself that you could do it. You might have learned one new expression, like, "How's it going?" and realized it just means, "How are you?" It's a small step, but you are no longer standing still. You are moving. After 1 week of daily practice, something interesting happens. You have now spent nearly 2 hours with English. But it didn't feel like work because it was broken into small pieces. Your brain is starting to recognize the shape of the language. You'll find that you are less afraid to open an English app or watch a video. The stranger is starting to look like an acquaintance. You might even find yourself dreaming a little bit in English, or having a word pop into your head before you even try to think of it. After 1 month, the habit is locked in. This is the golden zone. At this point, you don't have to force yourself to practice anymore. It's just something you do, like checking your phone or drinking water. Your vocabulary has expanded naturally. You are speaking faster because the muscles in your mouth are stronger. Most importantly, your English identity is solid. You no longer say, "I want to learn English." You say, "I am learning English. But I know that life happens. Sometimes you get sick. Sometimes you have a crisis at work. How do you keep going when things get difficult?" I have 4 shields to protect your habit. The first shield is the visual progress tracker. Get a physical calendar and put it on your wall. Every day you practice for at least 10 or 15 minutes. Put a big red X on that day. After a few days, you will see a chain. Your only job is to not break that chain. The visual power of seeing your progress is a huge motivator for the human brain. We hate to see a gap in a perfect row of marks. The second shield is the 10-minute timer. On days when you feel absolutely exhausted, and you think, "I can't do this today," tell yourself this: "I will do just 10 minutes. If I want to stop after 10 minutes, I am allowed to stop." Usually, the hardest part is starting. Once you start, you often find the energy to finish. And even if you do stop at 10 minutes, you have kept the habit alive. You haven't broken the chain. The third shield is routine anchoring. Attach your English practice to something you already do every day. I will listen to English while I make my bed. I will write my 3 sentences while I drink my morning tea. When you anchor a new habit to an old one, you don't have to rely on willpower. The old habit pulls the new one along with it. The fourth shield is the joy factor. This is the most important one. If you hate what you are doing, you will eventually stop. So, make it fun. If you love fashion, read about fashion in English. If you love technology, watch tech reviews. If you love music, analyze the lyrics of your favorite songs. English is not a subject in school, it is a tool to explore the world. Use it to explore things you already love. In closing, I want you to remember the image of planting a tree. When you plant a seed and water it the first day, you see nothing. The second day, you see nothing. You might water it for weeks and see only dirt. But deep underground, roots are growing. They are searching for water, building a foundation. Then, one day, a small green leaf breaks through the surface. From that point on, the growth becomes visible. Your English is that tree. Every 15-minute session is a cup of water. You might not feel fluent tomorrow or the day after. But I promise you, the roots are growing. Your brain is changing. Your confidence is building. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about being the best. Just worry about being consistent. Thank you for joining me today on English EchoLingo. I believe in you, and I know you can do this. Take those 15 minutes today. Make them count. And I will be here with you every step of the way. Until next time, keep practicing, stay curious, and keep believing in yourself. I'm Mike. Bye for now.